there, coffee lovers and internet explorers. Welcome back to SipCyber, the podcast where we talk about the human side of cybersecurity over a good cup of coffee. Today, I want to share a place that is super fun to me, Conscious Cup Coffee in Crystal Lake, Illinois. They have other locations too, but if you stick around to the end, I'll tell you about the drink that made me fall in love with this place in the first place, and generally with coffee. But first, I want to tell you about a moment that stopped me dead in my tracks. I was riding in the car with my nephew, who's in third grade. We both loved music, and we were listening to one of my upbeat playlists, singing along and dancing in our seats, like you should be doing. Then, You Can Call Me Al by Paul Simon came on. At one point, I asked him if he liked the song, and he said yes. And I laughed and said, me too. I love You Can Call Me Al. And he stopped, and he looked at me and laughed, and he said, oh, I thought the song was called You Can Call Me AI. And in that moment, everything clicked. He didn't mishear the song because he wasn't paying attention. He misheard it because AI already exists in this world. He's in third grade. Artificial intelligence isn't a futuristic concept to him. It's part of the environment he's growing up in, part of the language, part of the assumptions, part of how the whole world works in his mind. That's the shift. Kids today aren't learning about AI the way that we learned about the internet. There is no Oregon Trail anymore or Apple IIes. They're growing up inside of it. And that matters when we talk about cybersecurity. Because when technology feels invisible and normal, it's easy to forget that systems still collect data. They still shape behavior. They still influence how information is created, shared, and trusted. For adults, AI often feels like a tool we choose to adopt. For kids, it's just there. It's on their devices, in their curriculum. It just exists. That means that our job isn't to panic or ban everything. It's to help kids understand what AI is and what it isn't. AI doesn't know things. It predicts things. It doesn't think, it calculates. And the information it gives back is only as good as the data it was trained on. From a cybersecurity perspective, that's really important to call out. Because when people, kids or adults, treat AI like a trusted authority instead of a tool, that's where risk creeps in. So the conversation isn't don't use AI. It's let's talk about how to use it thoughtfully and purposefully. Ask where the information comes from. Talk about what not to share. Reinforce that curiosity is good, but context matters. That one small moment in the car reminded me that these conversations can start anywhere, even in the middle of a song that we've been listening to for decades. Because if you think about it, that song is really about identity, confusion, and trying to make sense of who you are in a world that keeps moving faster than you can process. It's playful on the surface, but underneath, it's about navigating change, feeling a little lost, and still moving forward anyway. And honestly, that feels like a pretty good description of how a lot of us kids and adults are trying to make sense of AI right now. There's even that familiar idea in the song about a friendly voice showing up and saying, I can be your long-lost friend. And that's exactly how a lot of AI tools present themselves. Helpful, approachable, and always there. But just like in real life, not every friendly voice should be trusted with everything you have. And that's where cybersecurity, context, and critical thinking come in. Now, let's circle back to Conscious Cup. Conscious Cup roasts their own beans, and it's the place where I first fell in love with the salted hazelnut latte. Truthfully, I hated coffee before this. That salted hazelnut latte is warm, a little unexpected, and super thoughtfully done, which honestly feels like a great metaphor for how we should be approaching AI. Not rushed, not fearful, just intentional. If you're ever in Crystal Lake, Conscious Cup is worth the stop. And if today's episode made you think differently about how kids are growing up with technology already woven into their world, then this conversation mattered. Before we wrap up, I want to leave you with one simple cybersecurity tip and a call to action. Here's the tip. Along with having one intentional conversation this week about AI, add one concrete safeguard. If you're a parent, ask your kids what they think AI is and where they see it showing up. You might be surprised by the answer. If you're not a parent, ask yourself the same questions and then do one practical thing. Review the applications and tools you or your family use that include AI features. Look at what data they collect. Talk about what information should never be typed into a chatbot, search bar, or image generator, especially anything personal, emotional, or identifying. Cybersecurity doesn't start with rules, it starts with understanding. And here's the cybersecurity piece specific to AI. Treat AI tools like a public space, not a private conversation. Anything that you can put into an AI tool could be stored, reviewed, or used to train future systems. That means no passwords, no personal details, no medical information, no private family situations, and no work sensitive data. Please, 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 please. Even if the tool feels friendly or helpful, it really isn't there to protect you. AI can be a great assistant, it just shouldn't be your confidant. So thanks for spending today with me. We'll be back next week with a new spot and a new tip. Until then, stay safe, stay human, and keep sipping.